Brat.
All this in my face, just a knife.
Lara and I went to the Sweat Tour last night with Simon and our John Arthur Hill, our friend of the pod, and we are radicalized forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the greatest nights of my year.
It was exceptional.
It was a truly great performance. Charli has such star power. It's actually crazy to me.
Charles is one to watch.
Charlotte is in her element. No backup dancers, just her shaking her little ass.
For like a
Her
true
voluptuous
pint-sized
She's a
princess, she owns the stage in a way that like I've only seen like Beyonce own the stage.
It's freaky.
It's weird because like you're not aware of like negative space around her.
No.
You only watch her and she commands the entire area.
And the choreo, like her dancing is just spontaneous and like just.
But it's amazing.
No, it just feels so authentic, and her rattling on cages.
She's punk.
She's punk rock, and she wears sunglasses the whole time. She was looking like Cher in Turn Back Time.
I was really inspired by her entire act.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, do I need to get hair extensions down to my ass? Like,
maybe.
Do I need to be wearing like little
booty
fluffy
shorts,
mini skirts and a thigh-high boot?
When she came out in that like white scream out dress with like the, what were those? Like
just like
tendrils,
flowy things.
That was cool.
Yeah. My favorite moment was her crawling on the stage and spitting on the plexiglass and licking it up. She licked the stage. I said, this girl rocks.
They had great camera work of her. There was like a glass runway, and she just stared and she looked into the camera and like went on the glass. And I was like, this is wild to me.
Many feet have been on here. Like she's in this day and age, not fear germs and in fact embrace licking where many shoes have been.
Mm-hmm.
Is the most rock star thing you can possibly do.
She's positively punk
She's
rock.
a rock star.
She's a rock star. When that Brat cube thing came down, the curtain thing, I started shrieking in a way that was like, I haven't since a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like it made me giddy. Like Troye Sivan was good too.
Troye Sivan was great.
He was great. I liked his tight dancing. I liked the hot, like muscly backup dancers.
He had good choreo.
Good, quick, nice. He looked like Madonna at one point.
He looked like Carrie Bradshaw at one point too.
Yeah.
He's kind of verse in his gender presentation.
I like their friendship.
And I liked the format of the show, switching back and forth between their songs. It was nice.
That surprised me. I'd never seen a show where it was like they do 2 songs on, 2 songs off, and like.
Yeah, I feel like I was trying to think what else have I seen, and the Watch the Throne tour where Kanye and Jay-Z, they did an album together, and then they did kind of a similar thing. I believe also either The Forum or Staples, but I can't remember. But I like it when artists collab in that way. And it was a party. It felt like a big party.
Her stage presence reminds me of Alice Glass from Crystal Castles.
She was a rocker too.
She would spit, and like she kind of did that shit too, where she would like, you know, take out like a bottle of whiskey, like almost JoJo Siwa, and just like drink it and spit it out into the crowd. And she would like get in people's faces. And granted, she was going through like,
it's a bit confrontational,
alleged torturous abuse. So I think she was going through a lot of shit. But
she had demons to work out.
By her bandmate, he was abusing her. But
oh, really?
Yeah, he like had this. I mean, she wrote this whole thing about how he like kind of Svengali'd her from a teenager before she was even an adult. He like picked her out of a high school and was like, "You're my front woman," and then sort of trapped her in this. And so she was, I think, channeling my parasocial, because I was such a big fan of Crystal Castles, and I saw her performances like channeling her rage, but she was confrontational and she like got in people's faces. And Charli kind of has that too, but it's lighter and not as like
you feel like you're in on it with her.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna like tear the place apart, but it's gonna be really fun. Like there's not a dark edge to it.
Yeah, Alice has felt like she might tear this place apart, which is also really exciting.
It's cool.
But Charli's is like party girl. You're with your like craziest girlfriend like out at the club.
And you're all gonna get fucking crazy tonight.
We're all
and
gonna
you're
get in a
laugh.
fight.
Yeah.
It's very Pink, but like in that way. We're all gonna get in a fight.
Like with others.
Yeah, or just like that kind of camaraderie of like, we're in it together, doll.
Mm-hmm.
All of us together here, getting fucked up.
Fiona Apple was also a spectacle on stage, but in a different way of like, is this person okay? Like, are they going to have like a full-blown breakdown? But I think that was her performance style, just like show to show. But I also enjoy that.
And like,
I like a woman just unleashing.
And from what I've been told, like Tori Amos has that. Like, is she okay?
Oh, I like that.
But it was great. We also were sitting next to Katy Perry,
the one and only
Miss
writer of Woman's World, Katy Perry.
Because we looked over and I was like, there was a bodyguard standing between us and this other row, and I was like, someone has to be in there. And I couldn't really see that well. And then he stepped out of the way at one point, and I saw this woman with long black hair, dressing very, very like brat style.
Mm-hmm.
She almost it was like almost the outfit that Julia Roberts wears in the beginning of Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this queen? And then she was filming the whole time on her phone, and I was like, she's really into it. And then I was like, oh my God, that's Katy Perry. And then I was like waiting for confirmation. And then you and John were like, that's her. Yeah.
Once I saw her, she was the friend that I thought you were trying to say the friend was Katy Perry. It was like a short hair, like Katie Maloney-esque friend. And I was like, that is not Miss Perry. But then the friend moved out of the way. And then I saw Katie, and then I was like, confirmed.
Kate Hudson.
Yeah. Confirmed XCX head. And I was like, she's out here getting ideas.
Yeah. I was like, she's definitely like sending all these videos to her like creative director being like,
we need to do this.
We need to do this.
She's like, Women's World Tour 2025.
It kind of felt, it was strange because I saw her as we were leaving. She was in like this room off to the side, and no one was really like, which I guess like people are just trying to give her space, but like no one was really paying attention to her. And it was just weird.
Yeah. She clearly wanted attention.
Yeah, she was hanging off the railing, doing a lot of like Sarah Jessica Parker kind of like over the top like. And so I was loving that, of course.
Yeah, it was great.
It was camp. And she was like, I think there are a few people down saw her, and she was going like, but no one was really making any fanfare about her because everyone was into Brat only.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, it wasn't sad, but I was like, damn, she's probably thinking like, this was me, but not me.
Both was and never was her.
No, but I mean like in terms of selling out like the Forum.
Performing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've seen Miss Perry at the Forum during Witness Tour, and it wasn't her finest moment. She's not owning the stage. I would say her stage presence during a concert is more of like a sprinting from to and fro. She's running around a lot.
Firing like cream cannons.
Firing cream cannons, sprinting, and
kind of like
trying her best to sing.
And kind of talking in like a low register, like almost like a pastor, right?
Yeah, and then
she's like, are we going to go out here today?
And then like other moments, like she's best in Vegas. She kills in Vegas. She should just have a Vegas residency forever.
She would kill and then like do an album in like 10 years and like
Or don't. Or just never do an album again. That would also be fine. Like I would think we all could collectively be as a society 100% fine if she never put out any music ever again.
And also I'd be like, you did some great work.
No, yeah, I'm saying like the legacy's there, mama. Like you're done. You've reached the end. But you have a lot of money. You're beautiful.
You have a hot husband.
You can do Vegas. You have a kid. Like, maybe hang up your hat. Maybe just invest from now on. Maybe you invest in real estate.
Yeah, just go the Ellen route and start
just stick to being rich and pretty. You've done about enough creatively.
Go buy some real estate in Westwood.
Sure.
Instead she's going, How are you everyone? We're here today. We are gathered here today. You know, like she's like almost Jim Jones, like evangelizing. But here she is at Brat. I was like, there she is. And then but I have to say, I too grabbed the rail at one point and was going.
Oh yeah, you fully followed suit.
Yeah.
You and Katie were both grabbing the rail, arched back.
But I wasn't trying to get attention. I was literally just like needing.
You were living in the moment.
I was needing something to grab onto.
You needed to arch and put your ass out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens. But many such cases.
I give it a 5-star review.
Yeah. Incredible.
It also, the only thing that was strange, but I loved, was that it felt like they kept ending and then coming out again.
Yeah, that felt pretty natural. Like encores.
Yeah.
Like, I knew there would have to be an encore because there were some songs that they hadn't done yet. And I was like, they have to do talk together. So, and I like that. It's like they edge the audience and then gear up. But yeah, it was great. You know what else is great? The Elisabeth Finch documentary. What a fucking psychotic person who's still giving utter sociopathic psychosis on Instagram. I highly recommend just perusing. Don't engage.
Well, you sent me her Instagram and I had checked when I was watching and she was private literally the day before. And I think she's
trying to make a splash.
Mama needs some attention.
She's really looking for attention and followers. When I checked, she had like 8,000 followers. I was like, damn.
She
not even like 20K hate follows.
Can I say though that like even her most like recent posts from this year, people I'm mutually following were liking some of her posts that I don't think ironically.
Like supportive?
Or just like I think people she's known in the biz.
Interesting. Her ride or dies in the industry.
Miss Finch, that picture of her. Scrub. Miss Finch was truly. This documentary was wild. It's on Peacock. There's 3 episodes. It just really goes into her backstory. She's from the town over from where I grew up in South Jersey. Always wanted to be a writer, was very ambitious from the start. I didn't know that she wrote, because she went to Cherry Hill East, which is like a really good high school. And they do have like a renowned theater department. And she wrote a play in high school called like Daddy's Home about like.
She was starting from a young age.
She wrote a play about a girl being molested by her dad. And like it won all these awards, like New Jersey State, like teen theater. And apparently the dad and mom are at the show like crying watching it, and not in like we're so proud of my daughter, and like our daughter's not well.
But I was actually like, okay, that's kind of cool that she was serving dramatic cunt writer at a young age. I was like, okay, she really had like talent. Granted, she probably stole that story from like a friend of hers and then turned it into her own. But a lot of writers do that. And I was like, I like it when you see someone who's achieved success, like when they do something at a young age like that, and you're like, okay, they were like following their creative instinct. And also Daddy's Home is hysterical to me.
But you could see the seeds of her like workshopping.
Well, trauma porn.
Yeah.
And like figuring out that like sad sells or like victim sells.
My favorite detail, which wasn't in any of the, I don't think in the articles, at least that I remember, was that she almost got fired from her first season of Grey's Anatomy because her writing wasn't good.
And then she said, I've got to do something drastic.
So like, makes me think like, was her writing that good?
Maybe not.
I think she was just like, she just scammed her way into like a really plush position where she was making so much money.
The thing is, she probably is set for life. off of her
Oh,
career.
for sure.
So she kind of like got out at the right time too, because as we all know, the industry took like a real turn over COVID and still is like just crumbling as we actually speak. So like for that, I say kudos, mama, for getting your bag and getting out.
She got out before the strike.
She got out before the strike. Like it was
It's funny.
blessed timing. I mean, the level of lies that she was peddling and her commitment to lying for years and years and keeping up the many ruses that she had going is so shocking to me. Like, I cannot comprehend the mindset of someone who's doing this. And it also makes me like not trust anyone.
One of the craziest details, because they interviewed some of her former colleagues, which was great.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
because writers love, there's one thing writers love is to gossip.
Well, the woman that they interviewed who she says like Finch stole her story about like
her mother being raped.
Her mother being raped and her being conceived as like a rape baby was like sorry, I didn't know what else, I didn't know. That's just what it was.
She was conceived via rape. And Finch, she like confesses to Finchy, and then Finchy was like wrote about it and then created like an Emmy award winning like episode Sentinel.
That everyone was like, you're incredible, mama, like get out there, like you've earned this. And this writer the entire time was like, what the actual fuck, but like couldn't say anything.
No, because Finch created like she created a persona of like tyranny where like she was the center of the writer's room. Everyone had to watch their words because literally every other thing someone said triggered Finch in some way, where she would like run out of the room and then be like, I can't write. And she had a really great racket going for a while where she would leave for swaths at a time and they would just write her stuff for her. And then she would get her name billed as like the writer of the episode. So she would still get her fee.
Because she started out as a cancer faker, like having some like rare bone cancer or some shit like that. And then she was like, and it wasn't the kind of cancer that you could like beat. It was like you just
Chronic.
live with terminal cancer for the rest of your life. So it like could flare up again at any given moment and you'd have to like get out and like go back to chemo. And who's going to question, like no one's going to question that.
But she had an incredible system where she would just be like, I'm really triggered right now over my cancer or over something else tragic. And then they'd be like, oh, we'll write it for you. It's okay. That is like, good for her. She beat the system. She just scammed.
After like a couple times, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
oh, for sure. Do you know how annoying that would be? Like you're in a room and you're like, this bitch is just like sending in emails being like, I can't.
You know what I don't like though about the writers that they interviewed was that like, I mean, Finch, by the way, her shenanigans, and I had a similar thing happen when I tried to watch the Casey Anthony documentary. By like the third episode, I'm so spiritually worn out that like my body just falls asleep. Like it's like too much for me to handle. So by the third episode, I'd gone a bit comatose and I haven't finished it.
You haven't finched
it. And so the
guy just went,
the writers they interviewed, like I wanted them to like be more cunty. And you could I know.
Those gays were like.
I know that these people hate her fucking guts.
Oh, yeah.
And think that she's such a wild piece of shit. But what I don't like is that no one, and this is like a Hollywood thing, no one can really be honest about that kind of thing. You can't be out here like talking shit on a Finch documentary of all things. You should be allowed carte blanche, but in this world, you can't. So you have to be like really diplomatic and be like, and I was upset that I thought about how unfair it was, but I didn't want to say it. It's like,
I would have been like, she's crazy. Like, this is crazy.
You know, behind the scenes, they were all like, this bitch is fucking lit right now. Like, what the fuck are we going to do? She sucks ass. Like,
she's sucking all the oxygen out of the room. The only one that was really talking shit and I loved was her stepdaughter.
Yeah.
I was like, this queen. But she, the craziest moment was when the Tree of Life synagogue shooting happened. They were in the writer's room and someone pulled out their phone and was like, oh my God, a synagogue in Pittsburgh was just shot up and like multiple people are dead. And Elisabeth, not even skipping a beat, got up without words, grabbed her coat and bag and ran out the door. And they were all like, where'd she go? And then she wrote back to them and was like, that's my synagogue. I have to go to Pittsburgh. And they were like, that was your synagogue? And she goes, yeah, in college. And I'm like, by the way, she went to USC. It was in Pittsburgh.
She knew no one is going to question me if I just like
run out
attach myself to the most horrific things that are happening.
But it's like at that point it was an addiction, and she had a supernatural, like she would just instantly be like, that's me. I'm calling it. And she would go, and then she went as far as saying she had to pick up like pieces of her friend that were on the floor. And they were all like, God damn it. And they would say to her, Finch, how is all this bad stuff happening to you? And she would go, I know, right?
Well, also a huge red flag was like her social media presence. Always congratulating herself for being like a victim of something or the other.
And being a fame fucker.
Yeah, I was like...
always posting pictures with like rando TV actors.
That kind of shit, I was like, I wouldn't have lasted a day with Finch.
Oh no, Finch.
There's no way. That's the worst. One of the worst types of environments I can possibly imagine having to work in.
Writers' rooms are. It should be like a safe place where you can all like commiserate together. And then when there's like one person holding the room hostage and you're like afraid to say something, and then you have to like kind of carefully maneuver into being able to talk shit about that person. And you know what I mean? It's like a whole, like, it's a whole period of vetting. Are these people down to clown with me? Are they going to think I'm being a cunt? And then when you get that one person that's like, I feel the same way as you, you're like, and thankfully I haven't really had any experiences with a Finch in the room, but it is to have that environment, which is already kind of stressful and like full of social etiquette. And it's like courtesan almost, like you have to be like, play the game. And then to have Miss Finch, she got to a point where
she loves to flee. Like at any opportunity, she's always looking for an opportunity to flee.
She's a lazy writer.
My favorite thing was when she decided that she needed to flee to like the insane asylum and go to PTSD therapy.
From the synagogue, which she didn't have any...
Which she had no relation to this shooting whatsoever, was never even like boots on the ground in Pennsylvania. But she was like, I have so much PTSD, I have no choice but to flee to like Arizona and
New Mexico. Entered
this place under a fake name, the name Joe, which was one of the cast members in Grey's Anatomy.
I think had a little...
Which, side note, this is what happens when you get too invested in a show. Because she was a huge Grey's head, like before she was ever a writer. And then she got in the writer's room.
Von Teese.
It was very Von Teese. It was very much like, I watched it and I was like, okay, cool. Like if I had gotten, like was at a point like so invested in Vanderpump Rules, but I used it for a greater good, aka this podcast, versus like other roads that people go down. And like, but when you get too into something, you can go Finch. It's like a thin line between normalcy and Finchy.
In an earnest way. But
going to the insane asylum and then entering like under a fake name, which I didn't realize you could do that at rehab.
By the way, this place looked like a Rome, like it looked like Russell Crowe's house in Gladiator, like on this like Etruscan farm, and like it looked like Tuscany.
But then sitting in the corner, shivering and looking around, being afraid of nothing because she has actually no PTSD because she was never at the shooting and like has faked everything in her entire life.
She was going like this,
sitting,
and then this woman whose husband
being
is
like, "Hey, how are you?"
This woman who's
I'm okay.
This whose husband is literally trying to kill her,
sending the absolute people. And I've known people who like act this fragile after something that it's like coming from a place of like drama or whatever, but to act fragile from something that never even happened to you, that's a whole fake storyline, is
incredible.
Next level. I was like, you're a performance artist. I
love it. no.
They go,
Sorry, I have so much It's like, you don't have, these people actually have like
you have nothing.
the most traumatic things happening to them, and she's in the corner going, and then she also began co-opting this. Then she meets this woman who was very unwell. Let's say that, but she had good reason to be. And by the way, her kids, her ex-partner's kids, incredibly well adjusted and like cool. And I give them a lot of props for being the only real ones to be interviewed. Because they were like, yeah, this bitch was wild.
Yeah, she like falls in love with this woman and then kind of bamboozles her, steals her victim valor, and then monetizes it. Like starts to become like a mother figure to the children, and
tries to use this woman's fragility as a weapon against her when she gets. So this woman found out. This woman, by the way, was a nurse. She was also. I gotta say,
this woman's starting to.
I have to say, what she went through with her ex, who took his own life. That was terrible, and I feel for her. But she was also, sorry to say, she was a little annoying.
Yeah.
Not because of what happened, I just think in general. But she was a nurse. She got hoodwinked by Ms. Finch. And she eventually
she ended up blowing up her spot, right?
Well, she
put together all the pieces of the puzzle that she never had cancer, was like lying about all this shit.
And then
didn't she send like her coworkers or forced her to come out to her coworkers?
She went to Finch always was like, we're going to Ojai, and she would always take her to like Ojai.
Finch is obsessed with Ojai, by the way. I like went on all of her social media and I was like, what is this bitch up to since she was outed as the world's biggest liar? And she posted a carousel of photos that was like reclaiming like beautiful spaces once again or something like that. And I was like, okay, where is she? Like swiping through. And I was like, she's at the fucking Ojai Valley Inn and Spa. I was like, it's rich. Reclaiming a sacred space. Like, yeah, I love also to reclaim the sacred spaces of $1,500 a night hotel rooms.
And you made the point where you think she was like sending a message.
I think all of her posts on social media are veiled
threats.
Messages for this other lesbian, Jen, to see.
But Jen is like,
I think everything is pointed out. Like it's like a picture of the kids and it's like, really miss being a mom to these kids, which by the way, also a favorite detail was that all her coworkers was like, Finch hated children. Like we all were like, we hate kids. And then when she like finally got with Jen and they lived their lesbian truth
in Kansas.
Yeah. Then she realized she had to like be a mother to 5 brats. She was like gravely depressed.
Well, Jen actually gave her more respect than she needed to. They went to California. She didn't want to do it in front of the kids and they were in the car and she just turned to her and goes, "You're lying about cancer." And Finch pulled the car over, and when she said that, even though I know like she's fine, she's talking to me, I was like, she's gonna kill her. Like I thought Finch was gonna take out a gun and just shoot her,
or just drive off a cliff.
Yeah, go full those women.
Yeah.
But Finch, she's like, you have to promise me like you're gonna tell people and then get help and we can work out like what's going on with you. And like she basically was like, I still love you and I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but like you need to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then Finch got vindictive eventually and like didn't really tell the truth. So then she wrote a letter to Shonda Rhimes.
Ooh.
Who Shonda was
over.
Shonda was like Finch's biggest champion. Shonda was like,
when you bring Shonda into the picture, someone's going the fuck down.
Well, when you make Shonda into a fool,
it's over for you.
It's over for you because Shonda's
that is one enemy.
Oh.
You'll never work again.
But when Jen did that, I was like, I like this. I like the way you work. Because I was like, that's petty queen. And you had to do it.
She had to do it to him. She's like that meme. But I had to do it to him.
But the scariest part was Elisabeth was like, one day just started packing her bags and was like, I'm getting a divorce. Bye. And then wrote her an email being like, I'll make this divorce clean as possible. You'll get money. Don't worry. Like started turning it into like Jen being after her money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and she honestly, other than being like shunned from society, now she lives in some like rando ranch in Topanga.
Well, she had to like sell her house. I did such a deep dive because I saw something. She has a dog.
Which I'm worried for that dog.
But I also was like, good on her. Because when everyone hates you, you do need a dog. You need one thing in the world that loves you. You do.
I worry.
And I think you deserve to have a dog.
I worry for the dog. I'm going to just for myself say that she loves the dog genuinely.
I think she does love the dog.
But
she's not like a Munchausen by proxy ass bitch. She's more of just like a liar. And she doesn't have enough like I felt good vibes coming off of this dog thing. I was like, thank God there's something in the world that loves her because she has nothing.
Well, she's still I've seen too, she's still in communication with her parents.
Yeah, so
she said her brother
were visiting her, and I saw a photo and it appeared to be like a vertical blinds apartment that she was in, and I thought, oh no, she's entered her vertical blinds era. And then I went further and she has sold her house, so she might be living in vertical blinds hell, but she also is able to reclaim spaces like the Ojai Valley and Spa, which leads me to believe that fiscally she is doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, she probably has like royalties and residuals and stuff, but like she's not going to work again.
I hope she remains well off for the rest of her life, but keep her out of like LA County proper.
But there's a lot of, I mean, there was a whole a famous Twitter thread years ago of a writer who said that a writer he was writing on a show, that like Whiskey Tango show. Remember that? It was like about like the military. I don't know. He wrote this whole thing about this one writer who came in and said she was like in the Marines or something. And then like had this, because it was like a lot of veterans were writing on it. And she claimed to be a veteran and it all turned out to be fake. And I think it just...
There's a lot of fakers.
But Finch took it to...
I mean, I had a friend...
You're like, I faked it.
I'm like, I have cancer. No, I have a friend who was working at like a big movie studio, and there turned out to be like a cancer faker that was like a woman that they worked with was married to a cancer faker, but it was like a whole big thing. I've actually, and randomly, knew another friend that was also just like a grifter, like turned out to be like a full grifter liar. So they're really out there, and people love a story. So like if you can spin a yarn,
it really shows you the trauma, like the industry of trauma porn, and like how like Hollywood really rewards people for like, as long as you're telling, like they basically were like, let's use her pain.
Well, she also knew that was like
her cachet. She was a currency. And I think that it just shows like, and then people who have like this actual trauma and actual pain, like it's just wild to me. But it's a good doc and I think everyone should see it.
I also loved when she was like, Me Too came out, or like there was some sort of abortion thing. And then she was like, I actually got pregnant during my chemo and I had to have an abortion. And I was like, no one was like, how? You're a lesbian. Like, for her to get pregnant during chemo would have to be such an intentional decision. Like, if you're in the middle of chemo treatment,
she did like a whole video.
Yeah, but like
campaign.
People weren't questioning, and this is why I think you just need to like kind of assume that everyone's lying to an extent, and like really question things. Because if you put your thinking cap on, you'd be like, why in the middle of chemo treatment where your body's going through hell, like, would you get pregnant?
Sleep with someone?
Well, not sleep with someone, but like if she's a lesbian, you can't get pregnant from fucking another woman. And so that would lead you to believe like she went and got IVF.
No, but she kind of alluded, the way she said it was like it was like, uh-oh.
But you're also like, okay, how though?
No, I know. I mean, maybe, she's bi.
A likely story.
Don't erase her bi-ness.
I'm just like, we should be asking how.
Well, no, but she kind of, what she inferred to me in that video was like she had like an accidental pregnancy. Like, so I was like, either she's saying that she fucked a guy.
I know, but also I'm like, who's fucking you? I mean, who's fucking you in this moment, Finch?
Hey.
You're like toothless. You're like sick as a dog and toothless. You mean to tell me? I mean, not. I'm just saying we need to be asking how more, and that actually women do have an edge when it comes to lying. I think they're questioned less. I think men maybe don't lie enough or don't fake enough, or maybe they do. But
Gays
women,
lie a lot.
Gays are, and I've started to uncover a new obsession, which is gays who have faked hate crimes. There's like a whole treasure trove. We don't have to get into it now, but I was like, wow, there are many gays, and I bet people listening are like, I know a gay who's faked a hate crime. It's like a thing.
I know.
Women love to fake cancer, but so do some men. Kind
white
of.
women.
White women in particular love when something traumatic has happened to think, A, how does this relate directly to me? What experience have I had with this thing? And if I haven't, what can I make up that people will really believe and will buy me some like cultural cachet?
And this, I'm not faking this hate crime, but last week Simon and I were outside of El Coyote, and we like pecked on the lips, and we heard someone drive by go, "Gay."
That was me.
Yeah, it was Lara. Gay.
That's not a hate crime to me.
No, it didn't feel like a hate. It felt like
it's a law crime.
Honestly, the tone felt
it's
like
a drive-by law.
It was a drive-by. It felt like someone was going like grounding themselves in reality, being like gay.
Yeah.
I want to get Finch on this pod.
I don't want her anywhere near me. Her vibes are so fucking cursed.
She's a vampirist.
No, there's nothing about her. I hope to never lay eyes on her. Should it burn my retinas to the core? Like I cannot. And also, she's the type of person you take one look at and you're like, something's wrong with this person. And it's not a looks thing, even though those are cursed as well. It's a general aura thing. It is. You look at that person, you're telling me you would think like, this is a nice lady. There's nothing wrong with her.
No, she's very, you know what she is? Our friend of the pod, Alan Moore, said that she's very like Hogwarts adult being like,
like a Harry Potter.
Gryffindor, you know? She's very like, whims, like, do, 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 do. Like she's very like.
She's Once Upon a December.
She's very like glasses going like, but first, coffee. Like that's her vibe.
She's tiny mustache.
She's a but first coffee girl. Where she's
How
like,
old is she? She's older than us, right?
She's like 45, I think. But it's very like coffee first, sarcasm, laughter. I'm fluent at Liz Lemon. You ever hear of Liz Lemon? People say they remind me of Liz. I remind them of Liz Lemon. That's like very her. Like, oof. First, mojito. One of her posts from last year, from either before or after the big lie was revealed, she was like, stood up to someone today who swore to like do no harm. I think she's talking about a doctor. She goes, so now I'm rewarding myself with a mojito. I'm like, why are you drinking mojitos? You're so
a lot of whys at play and how. I think it's important.
I would have been sus. I like to think I would be like, this is a little, I gotta say, I do have a good barometer with people, and I think I would have been like, at least talking shit with you if you were like in my writer's room.
Oh, 100%. The
like,
day that she would even say anything, like, I would have been like,
what's going on?
Are you getting a load of this? I don't think I could last in like an environment with a person like that.
You getting a load of this?
Like even just
Finch is at it again.
Finchy's at it again.
I go, hey, do you hear that?
You have to be making so much money to put up with like a personality like that.
And they were.
They really were.
They were making tons of money. Oh, I'm Carey.
I'm Lara.
And you're listening to Sexy Unique
Finchies.
Salty Utah Finch. Rhoslc, episode 5, season
Whitney
5.
Drew and her clues.
Which I was like, where are the clues?
Yeah, okay. This was the case
moment
of someone writing a title and people were like, yes, that slays, but it had nothing to do with the actual episode. But they were like, we know that, but we're doing it anyways.
There was like one moment of sleuthing and then it was over.
We opened with Lisa Barlow walking around her house in a tracksuit, looking for Henry, her son.
The lost child.
Henry, what are you doing? You're in your gaming room? Hey,
he's
your
like,
food's
what are you
here.
doing? And he's quietly just absorbed. This scared me a little.
I said gaming must be stopped. To see a child 1 foot away from a flat screen. First of all, no one should experience a flat screen from 1 foot away. As a flat screen lover and a woman who's passionate about flat screens, you need to be experiencing them from the correct distance. But also, like,
incel.
Thinking about what gaming does to a child's brain scares me.
It scares me too.
And like, children are so susceptible to fast edits and stuff. Like, there's certain, and I just know this from like my mom friends who like talk to me about this shit. I'm like, damn, that sucks, but good on you. But like, children are really susceptible to like quick edits, and like a lot of kid shows will do that, but it jacks them up. And like, there's specific YouTubes or children's shows that deliberately do like slower edits or like things at a slower pace because it can just like fuck their brains right up.
Yeah, well, it's like TikTokification.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
But it's like it's like and it's like it's making people anxious. It's making kids freaked out, and like Henry's sitting there going, and she's going, "Cool, you playing games? Come have dinner now. Come on.
Are you hungry?
Are you in your gaming room?"
But
I'm like,
also to interact with a child that, and like I experience as if I'm like on my phone trying to text, I can't have a conversation and do that at the same time.
He's going,
But kids, like, when you're like, if a child friend of mine is like watching something on the iPad and you're like, do you like XYZ? And they're just like, stare, like, you're like, oh, you're gone.
Yeah. That's why
I could blow your parents' head off right now. You wouldn't care. You would continue to be like, oh, I can watch Bluey for 10 more hours.
Lisa comes in, she goes, you playing your games? Great. How is it?
Henry, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Are you in your game? It's like you're in his gaming room. And she goes, oh, you're in your gaming room?
I like Lisa just narrating your life to you as you do it.
Meredith is studying the Torah with her rabbi.
Practicing her songs for her bat mitzvah.
I like hearing her sing, her kind of self-conscious, like, Adonai.
I like bat mitzvah songs.
Me too.
Meredith goes, I don't sing in public, so this should be interesting.
I don't really sing ever in public, so you're gonna have to convince me so.
She should live stream her bat mitzvah, like do an O2 Arena concert of her singing at the bat mitzvah in London.
It's like when William and Kate got married and everyone in Hyde Park, there were like 1 million people in Hyde Park watching on the big screens.
We need her to go full U2.
Live Aid.
She go, hello, all right, Adonai in the like whatever the bat mitzvah songs are. No, I need her to like do like a pay-per-view bat mitzvah.
And then you just hear like this
from Vegas.
Just like in the Sphere. Have her bat mitzvah live streamed in the Sphere. You can get basically every gay man and every girl in America.
Tickets will sell.
Will be in the Sphere.
You could sell tickets.
There's only 10,000 of us.
Starting 300 each. I'd go.
Yeah.
Think of the visuals.
Barlow and Bronwyn are getting pedicures, and Bronwyn's wearing a watch on her neck.
Bronwyn is unfortunately clowncore, and I don't like it. She's like a Frosty the Clown.
So Bronwyn reveals that when they were at the airport coming back from Milwaukee, Lisa and her were talking about her daughter Gwen, about Bronwyn's daughter Gwen, who she had when she was 19. Gwen's like very mature and like wise, and she's leaving, or I think she's taking like a year off and then leaving or something, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, it comes to pass that Lisa knows Gwen's dad's family, and they're Mormon. They're all Mormon, and Gwen's dad actually passed away, but his family is like, they're good friends with the Barlows for some random reason.
Yeah.
And Lisa never put it together. So then it's like this weird like connection because everyone in the Mormon church knows each other, I think.
Lisa was like, I was just with them the other day.
I was like, Lisa, did you know this already?
She goes, what happened?
Tell me everything about what happened.
Bronwyn got pregnant in college by accident at age 19. And
at 18.
Oh, at 18.
At BYU.
And she basically had to raise the baby herself. And the biological father's whole family was like, you're a whore for this. Shame
Blamed
on
her.
you. And her family was also kind of like, you're a whore for this. Shame on you. And then it really traumatized Bronwyn and also has affected Gwen because she like does not know her father or her father's side of the family.
And like Bronwyn's dad was like the recorder at the Mormon temple in Oakland because she's like a Bay girl. And so like it was really like she was Hester Prynne. It was really bad.
Lisa should host a talk show where she happens to know someone who's traumatized you and then helps you broker peace.
Lisa goes, Bronwyn, this is so much for a 19-year-old girl to handle.
Her going, what happened? And then when you talk, she goes, oh my God.
I don't believe that Lisa didn't know this already.
Yeah, she probably knew to some extent.
I think her family told. Like, I think she was like, oh, we know Bronwyn.
Or this is like an organic way to like tell the story. Because I'm sure that like Bronwyn got on the show being like, I'm going to tell this story as part of my like season arc. And then it's like, oh, how do we like do this?
I'll help. So Lisa called.
Her going,
yeah.
it's so sad. My heart breaks for both of you.
Lisa called Bronwyn's ne'er-do-well in-laws and they claim that they want to be part of Gwen's life. So they're like, we're ready when she is kind of thing. So Bronwyn's now like.
Yeah, Lisa's like linking Bronwyn up with the paternal grandparents. So stay tuned. Watch this space for Helen.
Whitney, Britani, and Heather head to the slopes because they love to ski and snowboard.
They love just like being snow bunnies.
You hear Wild Rose's echo, woo.
Brittany arrived home to a bunch of flowers and a beautiful note from Jared, who she was just like at odds with over his DMing of Hengie's brow girl.
When Britani goes, she does a video with the girls and she goes, woo, I am with the cousins. And they go, ha, 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 ha. I was like, that's me. That would be me with Heather and Whitney.
So Whitney is really mad because Lisa left her Prism jewelry in the hotel trash can.
Yeah, the kin called and was like, hey, your jewelry's still here. And she's
Charles
like,
from the kin. Fucking tattletale.
Whitney goes, is it a necklace? And he goes, yes. And she goes, does it say Prism on it? And he goes, yes, actually. And she goes, oh, okay.
Honestly, I get that. Like, I get Lisa just being like, this is trash to me. I don't want it. No one wants like cheap jewelry gifted to them. It literally is like, oh, great. So this is going to discolor on my neck and like the fucking coating will rub off of your Alibaba jewelry, which, by the way, Whitney has not denied. Whitney has not said my jewelry is not from Alibaba. She's just mad that someone said it, but she's not clearing up like where it's from.
So Whitney has discovered that Barlow is the one, not Meredith, who started spreading the Alibaba rumor.
Yeah.
And Meredith was just the messenger. And Whitney goes, it was not Meredith. I was wrong. The wrong M. The wrong.
This is one of her many clues. Whitney drew
the wrong girl.
We cut to.
That's her. She writes a mystery book where it's just her going like this, and it just says the wrong girl.
The girl who is wrong.
Whitney Rose and the wrong girl.
We cut to Mary Cosby's house, and this was really uncomfortable for me. I think we actually like, I crave like dysfunctional family, perhaps addiction drama, but I think this is not for our eyes to see whatever's at play here.
I hear that, but I also find Mary's reaction to her son versus last year so much more like realistic and like tethered to reality. Like she knows. I found her to be like weirdly candid about that he's like, she knows he's
unwell.
He's unwell. And it's really cute. He has Robert Jr. over his. That was cute. It was very infantilizing, but it was like.
It was Ari Aster to me. This is Ari Aster. This is getting into like this is just.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's just trigger. I'm like, this, whatever's happening with Robert Jr.
I think he comes out.
I think he's like on drugs.
Well, he comes out of his room. It looks like it's like in the afternoon.
It's like 4:30 p.m.
And she calls him and she's like, I'm going to a dance class with Hengie. And he's like, literally his eyes are rolling in the back of his head at one point, which really made me uncomfortable. And he goes, cool, can you leave me some money? And she's like, are you going to do good things with the money? Which I think is her.
I think the answer to that, if you have to ask, the answer is always no. If you have any question or feel compelled, if someone asks you for money and your immediate first question is like, is it for good things or bad things? The answer is it's 100% for bad things and you should not give them money.
I mean, literally that was like my dad with me.
Yeah. I mean,
like, what are you gonna use it to
many
buy?
dads with many sons, and many moms with many sons.
I said food.
Of course. And you're not going to be honest. What are you going to be like, drugs? He wouldn't give it to you. No one is.
No,
even
but
Robert Jr.
I may as well.
Who's like on Fent is like, it's for good things. And she's like, okay.
I just found it, I don't know. It was very unsettling. And the sign above his door, his room, like felt very like little boy lost. It was sad to me. I think she's nearing, to me, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but it felt like she's almost nearing like the point of post-enabling.
Nearing reckoning of sorts.
I think she feels.
I mean, you as a parent are responsible when your child kind of ends up in this situation. Like it's not your fault necessarily, but like you do bear as the parent some responsibility for that.
Even if they're an adult.
Yeah, I think so. And to be in this situation, I mean, requires years of a pattern repeating itself over and over to the point that now you feel like you're in too deep with your kid if you like kick them out. And I'm just projecting. I don't know what's happening with them.
He goes, I'm going to go back to bed now.
But like, if you kick this person out to the curb, it's like, what the fuck are they going to do? And so then you're just like, I guess it's better for them to be here. And like, at least I know they're just like sleeping at home.
Sleeping it off.
But then at the same time, it's like, they're just going to be in like your house forever.
She probably gives him like $300.
It's a really like, I don't envy any, like I would never want to be in this situation. I feel so bad for parents that are in this situation because it's like, I understand why you would be like, I'll give you money or you can stay here.
But what is it? I just want to know like what the deal is with Robert Sr. Like, where is he? Did they like, is Mary probably...
It's weirdly like I feel better not knowing. Like I would feel better just like
pretending it didn't
I'm
happen.
avoidant. So like the best thing for me in this situation is that we never see Robert Sr. follow up. And honestly, we never see Robert Jr. And we just see Mary. And then me, I feel best.
Did you see his eyes roll in the back of his head at one point?
Yes.
He was like literally
like an H.
On
he's an oxy. There's something.
It's giving like Erica Christensen in Traffic.
It's not good. Whatever it is, my Spidey, I was like, this is not good, and I don't need to see this.
Where's his wife? Yeah,
I don't know if that marriage could have what it takes to stand the test of time.
But I'm also like, Mary. I feel like in situations like this where there's like a lot of privilege and like there's like the parents feel guilty in some way.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she's like, maybe I wasn't the best mom because I was too busy being a mother to my flock. I don't know.
It's complicated.
It's real. When you think you're God for a couple decades,
you're bound to have like a wayward son.
A fail son.
Yeah.
Praying for them. Praying for Mary. Praying for Robert Jr.
I know.
I am. Hengie picks Mary up, and the minute Mary gets in her car, she goes, smells like onions.
Mary will always tell you, like, if you stink or if you smell weird.
That's what I want in a friend.
I want that too.
Like, truly.
Or be like, there's something on your face.
I'm the kind of friend where like, if I'm close to you, and I'd hope that you do it for me. If I know that you have like bad breath, I'm going to be like, have some gum.
Yeah.
And I say it really quietly, but I'm like, have some gum. I'd rather that than like... And I'm not gonna like go out of my way and be like, your breath stinks. Have some gum. But I'm gonna like, it's because I care.
Is it safe to assume, because like, I've done the like, well, I don't carry gum on me that often.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying when someone offers you gum?
When someone offers you gum, do you have bad breath?
I don't think it's always the case. I think it's out of politeness, but that's a good like sneak attack. That's a good Trojan horse.
For a stranger, like if you're just getting like a true stink mouth and you're just trying, and like you have no personal relationship to them,
let it rot.
Offering them some gum, no, for your own safety, as like someone that has to be around them and
Simply
smell
walk
their
away.
mouth. Yeah, like if they're in the friend group or like they're just there and you can't like walk away or get rid of them, it's good to give them the gum.
I don't want you to like question every time someone's ever offered
now
you gum.
I'm questioning everything.
No, I think it's more like
Finch has made me question
if it's like a close person to me.
If you offer me gum, are you telling me I have bad breath?
I would tell you that you had bad breath.
That's what I feel.
I'm not gonna. But if I don't know you that well, or it's a polite thing, like if I'm at a meeting or something and I take out gum, I just offer it to the person. Like it's all. But if I'm,
but we need like
I'm
a
gonna
code.
like you or like my other best friends or like family.
Like I would tell you if I thought you
Simon
stink.
Like I would be like, if any of people I care about and like care about how they are perceived by the world, like if we were like on tour, I'd be like, brush your teeth.
If you told me to do that, if anyone actually told me to do that, I would be like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be right back. And I'd go fucking kill myself.
If I gave you gum and said you had bad breath, you'd be upset?
I'd fucking hang myself in the bathroom after the show.
But wouldn't you
after
be like,
the meet and greet?
Wouldn't you be like, I'm glad that I have a friendship with Carey where he feels comfortable enough to be like wanting the best
It's not
for me?
about you.
Okay.
It's about me.
So I'll just keep it to myself.
No, please. Don't make this about you right now. Don't make this about you because it's about me. If someone tells me that, in my twisted mind, Lara's logic is like, I've failed so egregiously. And if I had no idea about this, I have no idea about life.
See, I think I'm desensitized because like my mom would be like my mom, there were a few times like growing up, like in high school or something, she'd be like, your breath smells sour. Like, take care of it. Or she'd be like, you need to, like, you're dehydrated, you need to drink more water. Like, she would be really like, or she'd be like, your hair should not smell this sour. Wash your hair better.
That's good.
But so I'm just
men need that.
I'm desensitized because I grew up with like two very like hygienic, like cleanly
I've just
women.
always been like such a hygiene freak.
Laura, I don't think
but that's a thing.
I don't think I've ever been like next to you, like been like, get a little woof.
No,
this one.
But I go out of my way. My mindset is like, I try so hard to not ever stink that if I somehow realize that I stink and I didn't know that, and then someone else was like, you smell, brush your fucking teeth, bitch. I think I would have a meltdown. Internally, you would never know.
I hear that.
You would
and
think
I'm honoring you for that, but in my head, I'm like, if it's not done in like a mean way.
No, I mean, I would want to know.
I want to know.
But then I would also have no choice but to kill myself.
But I know, like, just from being on tour with you and like all the times we're like getting ready, like in the back, like you're constantly brushing your teeth. Like you're a very clean.
No, I know.
A clean lady, but I'm not like saying, but I want the people I love to be presentable to the world. And I want everyone to perceive them in the best way. So like,
I would love everyone in the world to have good breath.
Me too. And I work on it.
And also, I'll add to that, I would like everyone in the world to smell either just totally like nothing or good.
Have I ever had?
No.
See,
that's one thing I do love about you is you've never had bad breath and you've never been a stinker.
Well, because I'm telling my mom, it's like, I don't know what it is.
This is a woman's
Irish
thing.
Catholic.
I think it's a woman's thing is like, I don't really experience I can't think off the top of my head like a woman having bad breath that I've like interacted with. Like it's not
really?
like
I have.
Maybe like an like a elder,
Men are stinkier.
like an elderly
Let's be
crone.
real. Males are stinky, but I think
I'm not saying that it's like a gendered thing, but I think more often
don't say
than not,
women can't. Women have a right to have bad breath too.
Women do be stinking, but
I just am like, I think we should all get
I think
to
it's
a
less
place.
frequent.
Radical honesty with this kind of shit. If you love someone and you
let them know they
see
smell.
something,
I've
you
had
need
to intervene.
If you smell something and it's someone you love, intervene quietly and in a kind way and in a compassionate way. Don't humiliate them and be like, your breath stinks. But take them, pull them aside and be like, have some gun, have an Altoid, wash your hair, please wash your hair. I had to learn the hard way. Like, I didn't know how to wash my hair as a teen boy. My mom and my mom was like, she's like, your hair stinks. You don't know I don't know what you're doing. You're doing it wrong. Because like, thank God for my mom.
She intervened. Yeah.
And I'm like, and being a swimmer.
Oh yeah.
Like
there's a whole other protocol.
Chlorine. And so like my hair always smelled like sour chlorine.
I know, but there's special shampoos you can use.
Oh, I learned. But let me tell you, going to an all boys school, I was the best smelling boy in that class.
I bet you were.
Because you smell things.
Well, you're also gay, so I feel like there's less instances of like gays smelling bad.
But I know there were guys that show up to school without brushing their teeth.
Yeah.
And
it's just like it's difficult.
Anyway, and I say this with love. Anyone in my life,
just don't put me in a position where I have to do the labor for you. Just please, just brush yourself. But if you're a stranger, I'm letting you.
In the impossible event where you do have bad breath.
If you're a good friend of mine, and you were showing up with like cave mouth, I would be.
I'd want you to tell me, hey.
Yeah. No, we'd have a discussion about it.
Because you'd be like, this is concerning.
Yeah, I'd be like,
what's going on? Are you okay?
Do you need a teeth cleaning?
Do you need to go to therapy?
Yeah.
Because sometimes stank is indicative of a larger problem.
Oh, hugely.
Anyway.
But when I go stink mode, no one knows it. Because when I go like chicken noodle soup armpits, it's a solo. It's a solo thing.
I put deodorant on before I go to bed.
I do magnesium spray, but
cool.
when I'm like in a little depressive state, things get chicken noodly. No one's ever subjected to that
except Tony.
But he won't judge. He probably likes it. Yeah.
I like brush his teeth. I get little toothpaste and I go in like 3 times a day with him.
I know.
I'm maybe a little Annette Bening from American Beauty.
It's okay. I'd rather have that than.
Anyway, we need to move on.
Guys, Mary is in a hip hop dance class.
They see Heather's daughter, Georgia.
I'm in awe of Mary once again. She kind of has a natural rhythm, a natural swag, because she does perform on stage.
Hengie is not the best dancer, but I love her. She's
giving it a God's honest try. Heather and Lisa meet to go to a salt cave, which I love, a Himalayan salt cave.
Barlow goes, oh my God, I've never been to this place. I was like, it's the only thing to do in Utah in the winter is like go to Wendy's, go get your Botox or like a esthetician, or go to a salt cave.
Lisa goes, oh wow.
Or murder your family.
Yeah, our family annihilate. What is this place? Can you tell us about it? Like, what even is this? And the girl goes, it's salt. It's salt. It's made of salt.
She goes, everything in here is salt.
Everything. Yes. The bricks are salt. She goes, who thinks of this?
This is like when my mom and I used to go to a dollar store with my Nana, and she'd go, how much is this? And my mom would go, Mom, it's $1. It's $1. And she would go, and this? She would hold things up. She was blown away. Everything here is made of salt, Lisa.
Even the bricks.
What do? You just sit there?
You sit, and it's like a negative ion charge. It's supposed to be really healing for you. Good for your lungs, actually.
So Hengie tells Mary after the class how upset she is with Barlow still. And then we cut to the class, and Heather goes full tattle, 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 and rats out Hengie to Barlow.
I need to speak for 1 second about Hengie's look in the confessional, where has some sort of like snowflake white, she is a real getup in one of the confessionals now.
That's when you see something, say something.
It's a figure skating kind of snow queen.
Where's her husband in this?
I know. Where's her gay husband?
Stop it.
Set her straight. Maybe he he might have chosen it.
Mm.
Heather, tattles away.
She said that in Milwaukee when they were having like a hungover powwow in their bed, that Hengie said to Heather about Barlow, I don't like that she keeps saying like I run out of the room to call Electra, like as an excuse. She goes, my daughter needs me. I'm actually involved with my kids, unlike some people, and I don't just like let the video game raise my kid. So she's talking about Barlow, and then Barlow goes, oh wow, is she talking about my parenting? I'm like a great mom.
And Barlow's upset now. Now you've really done it, Hengie. You've done the one thing, the cardinal sin of housewives, talking about parenting and kids.
She goes, I'm like a public figure. This is very damning. And Heather, you just see go, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Heather's always fucking tattling.
She's a tattle.
Because she has now, especially this season, nothing going on. So when you have no storyline, your only recourse is to tattle.
Receipts and screenshots can only get you so far. The president might be talking about it on a tweet. But after that, come up with a new material.
Yeah. Whitney and Justin drop off Bobby.
Who is okay.
Yeah. She
Bobby
has
Rose
survived.
She wants to get second piercings. And Whitney goes, I want to preserve your innocence as long as possible.
Why don't you come up with a goal? And then if you meet that goal, we can talk about it. I was like, keen parenting.
I feel like they live in an endless neighborhood.
They live in to bring it back to a place of family annihilation, it's a Chris Watts ass neighborhood.
Don't say his name.
It is like that.
He scares me so much.
He should scare you. I hope he does scare you. I would fear a person who says like he's neutral to me.
Yeah, that really affected me. I had to call my parents about that because I was scared, and I had to have them comfort me.
Wow,
it scared me.
Yeah, it's scary. Whitney's gay. Adam.
Wait, is this that up for Adam? Up and Adam guy?
I don't know.
Who the fuck was this guy?
Is he having a podcast?
Yes, Whitney has an inside connection to like a Bravo podcaster, I think, that calls her and gives her dirt. And Whitney he calls her and he's like, I found out through turns out I'm friendly with the person that runs the Instagram, the like Von T's like Instagram account that first alleged your Alibaba connection. And I messaged her and I got the detail of who actually spread the gossip.
This type of shit is like, you're all Finch for this. People that are like too close. So he's now like the owners of these Instagram accounts, by the way, love the fact that they're like in the mix.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like heroin for them. And then a gay adjacent Bravo like sleuth loves to be the broker between like Instagram accounts and the housewives and like get to the bottom of things. And he was like, I got in touch with the owner of the Instagram account and I said, who sent this to you? And they said, I can't tell you, but you can ask me questions. I'm like, you guys are imagine having this conversation like in earnest as part of like your day.
But Whitney's on the phone, she goes, tell me, say it, tell me who. And he's like, is she in the cast of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? Yes. Does she own a tequila brand? Yes.
And then he was like, he goes, there is only one person in this cast who owns a tequila brand, and that is Lisa Barlow. And so,
dun, dun, dun.
What are they saying? That Lisa Barlow DM'd this Instagram account and was like, this bitch is getting all her jewelry from Alibaba. Yeah. Well, is she or isn't she?
Yeah, still not answering the question.
Find out if it's Alibaba or not? Because I don't see a problem with that.
By the way, this is the only Whitney Drew moment.
Yeah. And she didn't even do the sleuthing gay Adam did.
Yeah. And you see Justin go like this.
Justin.
So then we cut to Britani having dinner with Jared, who...
I could watch 4 hours of Britani and Jared.
He scares me.
He gives me the creeps.
She comes into the restaurant and he goes, can I have a hug? And by the way, he's chewing gum. I want to go spit the gum out. You're on TV. I don't care if you're Donny Osmond's nephew. That's in play.
He's like
trash.
Exactly what a nephew of Donny Osmond, like exactly how I pictured him. But their entire dynamic is like, I'm fascinated.
She's so broken with him.
She is.
She's on the verge.
She has no
of,
power.
She looks at him with like teary reverence, and he goes, he's so manipulative. He goes, I was really hurt by you. I thought we were in a good place. And then I get those FaceTimes from you like, hey, I'll call you later. You never call. And then you get that hateful text message that Lisa Barlow sent. Why are you talking about our business with people? And then she goes, they were just defending me because you're not taking our relationship seriously. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, I've kissed you in public. I've held your hand before. And she goes, whenever we're holding hands and a cute girl walks by, you let go of my hand. And he goes, so what? He's terrifying. It's Joe.
Women need to see this so that they won't make these same mistakes.
Yeah.
It's important for us. And Britney is now performing an act of community service by allowing a national television network to capture this and air it for anyone with eyes to see.
I've kissed you in public. I've held your hand before.
She goes, Jared, you are my best friend. I said, take this woman to the meadows immediately. This is like, people need to surround this and drag her kicking and screaming to the insane asylum.
He's still on dating apps.
He never got off dating apps.
No.
He agreed to hold her hand in public, but drops it if a hot woman walks by. And what else? He won't post about her on social media outside of being like, she's my kooky friend.
I love that. What else do you want from me? The bar
This woman has no self-respect.
Where is the bar?
No, there's no bar. The bar has been
dismantled.
Obliterated.
How to blow up a bar.
The bar has been blown up.
How to blow up a pipeline of your standards.
Of your own self-esteem. If you're even in a place where you're going to go meet a man at a restaurant like this, which number one was a scary location.
Also, he never spits out his gum.
And you're feeling on the verge. If you're going to meet a man that you're still very much in love with and you want to be with, all he would have to say is let's be together. And she'd be like, okay. And if you even think for a second, you're going to look so hot and but you might cry in front of them, you need to not meet them. You just need to cut them off. The most powerful thing you can do is to just completely cut someone off and stop responding.
But that's not going to happen.
No. And I beg of her, don't do that. Don't do that don't do that for the next couple years at least. I think stay in this
just for the kicks.
For me and Carey, I'm going to need Britney to stay in this
I need to go
twisted relationship.
Me and you are like the witches in Hocus Pocus going.
This is lifeblood for me.
Bronwyn and Gwen, I mean, okay,
I was kind of snoozing.
This is a powerful scene, but it was kind of I don't want to watch it. So we're going to skip it. But basically, Gwen's fuck these people. The
big takeaway is that the grandparents
sent kind of a cunty text to her.
Yeah, they want to meet Gwen, and Gwen was like, yeah, let's meet. But then they sent a text that was we're only willing to meet you if you're in a place of your life where you're willing to accept us. And she was like,
what does that mean?
I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. I
think
they were covertly being
that sounds really Mormon to me.
Yeah, I think it was about Christ.
But also we did the best we could and we actually did nothing wrong, and we're not going to say what we did wrong and you're not going to say it either. You're just going to accept. And everyone makes mistakes vibes.
And she was like, why do I want to be with people that weren't interested in me and for 18 years of my life?
Yeah. She's every day for the past 18 years, they've made the decision to not engage with me.
And Gwen was like, I feel like sometimes I've poisoned your view of your dad. And she's like, you were the one that was raising me.
Yeah. Fuck these people. Fuck you.
Gwen's cool.
Gwen is cool. You're better than this.
Bronwyn's a good mom.
She is a good mom. She's provided. She's provided and was providing on her own and continues. And you know what? If she needs to live in a clown world, then by God, That's
Wear a
just,
watch on
you're
your
doing
neck.
what you need to do.
Wear a Rolex on your fucking clavicle.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
These
These
assholes
women
can
have never
fuck
met
off.
a ropes course they didn't love.
I thought someone was gonna die.
Mary, so they go ziplining. It's Mary, Heather, Britani, and
Someone else.
someone else. And
Lisa.
Lisa, Mary, turns out she's a zipline enthusiast. And like, one thing we know about Mary now is that no one loves ziplining more than Mary.
Everywhere she goes, she finds the nearest zip line and goes on it.
They
I
also
also
go
want-
UTVing, which
They have to take like a.
I did this in Utah. I did
in the mud.
No, but I did the I think it was called a UTV, but it's like I did the one where I didn't drive, I was in the front seat, but Simon drove, where the wheels can climb up a vertical
Whoa.
rock. It was one of the scariest things I've ever done. And I had Mango strapped to me in
my
a
God.
Bjorn. He was fine. Simon is never afraid of driving, and he said he was worried a few times that we were gonna die.
Yeah. These
Utah is a
women-
wild place.
They have to go up like a muddy hill, and no one told them like dress for deep mud. So they're all in like high fashions. Heather gets splattered with mud and then never wipes it off her face. Why?
Because she's kooky.
But do you think she's kooky, or did no one tell her?
I think she was like, look at me, I don't care.
But
That's what
like
I
it's
think.
on your lips.
Someone-
It's one thing if it's like on your.
It was an intentional mud placement of like kookiness. That's what my tinfoil is
It's
her
like
being
when
like,
you lick. Her mud placement was like if you're even talking, you're tasting.
she wanted it there.
She
and I
wanted a
stand by
tasting
it.
menu?
I think she wanted to be like, look at me, I'm funny. I have mud on my face.
I didn't like that at all. That scared me.
Brittany, congrats. She goes to they sit down for like charcuterie and wine and Diet Coke. And Brittany goes, Lisa, I wanted to congratulate you on ruining my relationship with Jared. And Lisa goes, what are you talking about? Lisa's right. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Brittany is
100.
completely brainwashed.
What if I was like, no, Brittany really has a point.
Brittany's like,
Brittany's
you
like
ruined
in a
it.
cult.
I'm like, no, you ruined yourself being with this guy.
Your life is in shambles right now.
Lisa gave you an out, and she was being a good friend, and actually like to fuck with this man is how you get power over him. And you had a little bit of power and you lost it.
I know.
And Lisa,
Now you have nothing. She goes, I just want to be in a good space with him where we can be friends. And what you did might have ruined that forever. You're not going to be friends with this person.
No.
You don't actually want to be friends with him. You want to be his wife, and you will never be his wife.
they say that to him, and then she goes, look, Jared's just really private about our relationship. And then Mary goes, and then she laughs, and then Brittany goes, do you think this is funny? And Mary goes, leave me out of this. No one has time for this.
And she goes, I will leave you out of this. And Heather goes, leave me out of it too. And Lisa goes, me too. And Brittany goes, fine, I'll leave everyone out. But I was like, no, don't though.
Leave us in.
Leave me in.
Clue us in.
I crave it. Literally, it was like the substance for me. It was like injecting myself with like the life force, seeing Brittany and Jared interact.
I got a little of that last night when Katie was filming Charli.
Yeah, I really do get, it's the substance off of a desperate woman. I can't help it. It's how it is. I'm just going to be honest.
Be real.
I'm being real. It helps me. It helps me sometimes. Helps all of us.
It's my problematic truth.
Makes the world go round.
Yeah. It makes America runs on women,
the
dysfunctional
women's
women.
desperation and
Yeah.
lack of self-esteem and self-regard. And women, do yourself a favor, figure that out. Stop feeding the world your own lifeblood, and then we won't have a problem. It is a woman's world. America,
is fucked.
America, we have a women problem. Am I right or am I right?
And I'm like,
You're like, I just want to say,
why is
I don't want to be left out in the cold. I need more Jared content and Brittany's tortured soul. I go, now we're cooking with fucking gas.
And then Heather goes, I heard you saw my daughter at hip hop class, Mary. And then Mary's like, yeah, I saw her. And she's like weirdly cagey about it. I'm like, what? What is happening? What
She goes,
happened?
how'd you run into her? And she goes, she just blew into my orbit. I like that. Don't ask Mary questions.
Okay.
She's been through enough. She's one person I would say, don't question her.
And then Mary kind of gets into it with Heather a little, and then she goes, I think you leave a trail of lies wherever you go. And Heather's gagged. And she goes, what do you mean? She goes, the black eye. She goes, you said you're all about body positivity, and then you're like on Ozempic, and then you're saying body positivity is a lie. She goes, what's the truth? And then Lisa goes, she does tell the truth. She's just saying body positivity wasn't for her. And Mary's
Lisa will always have your back when you want to go on Ozempic. Like, no matter what you say, if your aim in life is to be skinny and hot, Barlow will back you the fuck up. Mm-hmm. God love her. Heather is a liar.
Much to be revealed. Thank God we have another episode coming up.
What's the real... I need the real tea. Is it Alibaba or no?
What's the real tea?
Mayhaps we'll never know.
We're going to shout out now people who are not Alibaba.
We're going to shout out some people that I found on Alibaba that I recently found and procured on Alibaba. Huge word on the street. It's that there are no sub cult members. They're all just bots.
Yeah.
So these are our list of...
You just came up with that rumor that they're going to run with.
I know. Let them run. Let them.
One of the dolls.
A bot. Teddy the Schnauzer and Tony and Mango's cult. Completely AI.
Alex Delisle.
Does not exist.
Even though we know her in the person. She doesn't exist.
Digital footprint there.
Makeup Fresh.
Who?
Obviously.
Doesn't exist.
Emily Vaughn.
A fake name.
Gina Sapienza.
Also a fake Italian-American name.
Sarah Lizzie from Boston.
Boston, is it even a real place? We don't know.
Lucy from London Town.
London, ever since Brexit, we really don't know.
Brooke Johansson.
AI.
Lilia Farrell.
Fake.
It's Your Girl BB.
Fake.
Gerd Queen of Brooklyn.
Absolutely made up.
Britani Weiss.
Fake.
Danielle from Brim.
Fake.
Mazeltov Lols.
You forgot one.
Oh, Jessica Hernandez.
Also fake. You forgot a fake one.
Mazeltov Lols.
Again, AI generated username.
Mary.
One name only. Nothing faker than that.
Katie Sulin.
Where?
Mike Earhart.
Nope.
Sharon Brown Beeliter.
Where's the real estate license?
Why did I just say Beeliter? Timothy Shiel.
Fake.
Matthew Thomas. Fake.
Generically fake.
Owsley Robinson. Fake.
Too real fake.
Cheeseburger Bay.
Also fake.
Kathy West.
Fakest name I've ever heard.
Kit Moore.
Do less.
Hillary from Chicago.
Chicago.
Don't know a name. Don't know a Hillary in Chicago. Never heard of that. Orlando. So fake.
Orlando.
Patron of the Farts. Give me a break.
Silly.
David from Switzerland.
Silly fakeness. Switzerland.
Nick Sedaris. Absolutely not.
Never heard of him.
Mr. Brandon.
Nope.
Emily.
And again, one name.
Kim Lucas.
Fake name.
Drew from Toronto.
AI.
Katie for the Sup Lawyer.
Just meant to scare.
RJ. Who? Modern Counseling, McLean, Virginia. Absolutely fake.
No. And the fakest of them all.
Jeffrey Pradama.
Does he exist? Yay or nay? The answer?
Let
nay.
us know.
Guys, that's all. Bye.
Bye.